Welcome to News West 9's West Texas View with Johnny Lou Avery.
Welcome to our program today. We had Carol Cain here last Sunday, and we talked about the WASP, the Women's Service Air Pilots that were made famous during World War II as the first women military pilots. And she's just had so many stories to tell and so much great information about the museum that we implored her to come back again. And we've had such good feedback every time we've had a program about the WASP. And so today we've got several things to talk about, but I want us to start out talking about the museum trail across a portion of Texas, of which the WASP Museum and the CAF and the one in Abilene, 12th Armored, is all a part of. And I also want us to talk about some of the contents that we have in the museum. So talk to us a little bit about how you cooperate with the other museums so that we are advertising. If you're coming down Interstate 20, stop at all of these.
We have such a rich history of military museums in this part of the state. And the National WASP World War II Museum, of which you and I are the most familiar,
is right in the middle of it.
Right in the middle, and there are 5 museums other than the WASP Museum. If you were going to tour all 6 museums, you would start in Abilene with the 12th Armored Museum. And if you recall, it was the 12th Armored Division that liberated the concentration camps in Germany. Those men were the first to see what was in fact going on in those horrible, horrible places. If you continued west, the National WASP Museum at Avenger Field in Sweetwater would be your next stop. If you head north toward Lubbock, you will go to the Silent Wings Museum in Abilene, in Lubbock, and then right before you get to Lubbock is the Texas Air Museum, and it covers about 4 acres of aircraft from the very most primitive, the earliest aircraft, up through the space program. It's a privately owned museum, and it is wonderful. If you stay west after you leave Sweetwater on Interstate 20, you are going to first come to Hangar 25 in Big Spring, and then on to Midland to the CAF. And if anyone in this area should visit these museums, we all have a lot in common, but we are all very unique in our focus. Exactly. And working together, it gives us an opportunity to spread the word about all of our museums as opposed to doing it individually. We meet 3 times a year. We have a meeting coming up in September and at Hangar 25 in Big Spring. Wonderful, wonderful people. Most people don't know that Lubbock was the home of a glider training field, and gliders played a huge part in World War II, and WASP were used to tow gliders in glider training before glider pilots were sent overseas. So the WASP are very connected with with
every
aspects
museum.
Of these museums.
But and the CAF is having this air show coming up in October, and so all of these museums will probably have booths, so you can learn a little bit more.
Exactly, and the 12th Armored in Abilene has a group of reenactors who wear WASP uniforms, who wear the uniform of the period. They have a Jeep that was used in World War II. They're so gracious to share. Each museum is just so wonderfully individual, yet
and
we all interact as a group.
History buffs come to all of them
Exactly.
for research. But one of the things that is so interesting to me is that we have had, when I have just been there, I've had the occasion to see people just come off the interstate that saw the WASP sign and didn't even know the museum was there, and they said, "Oh my goodness, I had a relative that was a WASP."
Exactly, exactly. Or they will see the WASP sign on I-20 and pull in and go, "Oh
What
my
is-
gosh, I'm so disappointed. I thought there were going to be insects in here." And you know, but WASP, Women Air Force Service Pilots, not the kind that fly around. Although I have had to step on some wasp in the museum,
and maybe even
from
a
time
rattlesnake
to
or
time.
two.
Exactly. Yes, we have had those.
Well, we're going to talk about building. I mean, the building it's in, and all the things it took to get the museum started. But before we do this, let's talk about the contents. Tell us, the gift shop is wonderful. Tell us about the gift shop.
We have a wonderful gift shop. We have T-shirts. We have wonderful books written by the WASP and books about the WASP. We have DVDs of the WASP program. We have Tervis tumblers with Fifanella on them. We have WASP jewelry.
And jackets.
And jackets. Not everything in our gift shop is online, but www.waspmuseum.org. You can go online, and we have items from our gift shop online that you can buy and pay for via PayPal.
But you have an old actual uniform on display.
Exactly. We have two. We have a number of uniforms, and our uniform collection has been flagrantly missing. One of the leather fur-lined flight jackets. And just this last week, we had a young man call and say that his great aunt had been a WASP and that he had her flight jacket. Would we like to have it for our collection? And of course, we are so eager to get that. We have the helmets. A venture field had been built to train male pilots in the late 30s, early 40s. And when the WASP came there, they moved into dormitories that had been built for men. They stayed in bays, and there were 6 WASP to a bay, and 2 bays shared one latrine, and that latrine had 2 lavatories, 2 showers, and 2 toilets. We have a replica of the bay, the sleeping bay that the women would have lived in, with personal mementos, so you really get a feel of what it would be like to live in
which was not luxury.
It was not luxury. And not only was it not air conditioned, it didn't have window units, and a lot of the rooms did not have ceiling fans. So if you wanted to move the air in your bay, you had to go out and purchase one of the little metal fans to
And one of the things I remember one of the WASPs telling me was that there was huge cracks in the building because it was a wooden building.
Yes.
And the wind, the dust, the wind, because she came from a state that didn't have dust storms.
No.
And she said it was just constant dust in that place.
Yes. And they would in the summertime when it was really hot, they would carry their mattresses outside and sleep outside.
We've got to take a break right now. We'll be back in just a minute and continue this conversation. Join us then.
Stay tuned. West Texas View will be right back.